All right, guys, welcome to the episode of the Fit Podcast. I'm back with Josh. We wanted to bring him back on. We got a new topic to kind of debate today and talk about. We're really going to talk about why or how it's challenging for people and the challenges that people deal with to be able to kind of stick with going to the gym, stick with a diet, sticking with losing weight, and kind of the difficulties that I have faced, Josh has faced, but a lot of our clients and patients who we know, but just the everyday person, especially you guys, the audience faces. And we're going to kind of dive into that more of the mental and emotional aspects of that. And then we're going to do a part two on the physical aspect of that. So make sure that you guys tune in for that. Before we start today, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please go and follow the Instagram page as well. And it takes 5 seconds to do that. Social media is so quick nowadays. So, Josh, how are you doing tonight?
Not bad. Thanks for having me on again.
Of course, my pleasure. So let me start off by asking you this. What do you feel like is in terms of mental and emotional sides for people? How do you think that can kind of challenge people from being able to stick with, going on a regimented diet or maintaining the consistency in the gym that they need to stick with it if they've kind of had not a lot of success and they're kind of down on how they look and everything?
Yeah, I got a lot on this one. One quote specifically stands out to me. Actually, I'll say two quotes. The first one is we rise to the level of our habits. Or I should say, we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our habits. And I think for people that are starting fitness routines, fitness journeys, life does not model what they want their life to look like in the future. They don't have a good plan for creating these lifelong habits. Um, so that being said, you have this lofty goal of like, hey, I want to lose 20, 40, 50, 60 pounds. I want to get way stronger, etc. But your current life in the gym might match that, but the other 23 hours of your day that you're not in the gym don't reflect that at all. The sleep's not there, the eating's not there, hydration's not there, daily movement and step count's not there. And for a lot of people, I feel like there's a big mental barrier when they start to see all these puzzle pieces that they need to put in play. Um, so if I I'm a hand holder, I'm a gentle coach. We build and land on one foundation, master that first before we start adding in, because I see a lot of coaches, new trainers, that give people the picture perfect lifestyle, and they look that over and they kind of need to upend everything that they're currently doing in their life all at once, or it's like, hey, I'm never going to get there. And the other thing about it too, uh, a coach I used to be really close with, she used to swear by this, and the more I thought about it, I 100% believe it. Um, it's simple to get to your goals and your life, but simple does not mean easy. If you got to drive past 20 fast food places before you find one grocery store with healthy stuff, like there's barriers to entry in doing it. And the priorities for people are just out of line. Like they can swing through fast food, have no problem paying $10 for a cheeseburger and fries, and they'll tell you that eating healthy is expensive, not realizing that they could have bought like 2 pounds of super lean ground beef and rice
Yeah.
and some
And
vegetables.
they
Think,
got buy one get one free is wherever you go. Jewel,
yeah.
Walmart, Mariano's. So you can be getting 2 pounds for only $7, you know?
Like you can build multiple meals off of that for the same price that are all real healthy. And I feel like people just look at the straight sticker of the healthy, good quality food and they're like, well, that's real expensive. But they don't bat an eye when they're in like the Chick-fil-A drive-through and spend $65 for the family. And it's like you could have fed yourself for the whole week there. And you just you just did one meal for the family.
The thing is
Um,
that meal is not gonna fill them up at all with all the preservatives and hormones that are in there, man.
yeah.
They're gonna feel more hungry after they eat that.
Yeah, so I feel like it's just a big mental block a lot of people have. I also do wholeheartedly believe that we live in a culture that's so backwards that when you eat normal, people think you're dieting. Like a lot of our friend group, Yeah, a lot of our friend group, which granted a couple of them live the fitness life, but the others that don't, I still adore them as friends. But they'll look at us and the way that we do our meal prep every Sunday, like religiously. And they're like, "You guys are insane. Like, how can you diet for the last 2 years?" And it's like, we're not dieting, we're just eating.
Yeah.
We're just eating healthy food.
That's such a great point. And this is for all the audience members and people who view into the podcast. Like, just because a lot of, I'm just gonna say it outright. You'll have friends, you'll have family, you'll have people who will say like, "You're crazy, you're insane. Like, what are you doing?" And it's not necessarily maybe to kind of hate on the way that you're eating and your lifestyle, but there should never be someone who should not support you in trying to eat healthy and going on that endeavor. If they're not, in my opinion, you just kind of poo-poo it, have it go in one ear, out the other, because you're trying to better yourself. To Josh's point, I think that's a great thought that he had is like him and his wife are just eating kind of normal, like they're eating healthy. That's just how they always have eaten. And people just are like, "How are you going on this crazy diet and doing this?" Like a lot of people who do that stuff, they actually love the food that they eat, and they actually eat eat foods that they like love, even though it might not be the healthiest, because they implement it into their diet and they're just smarter. It doesn't take a lot of like effort or time. It just takes about like caring about themselves, in my opinion, and just caring about just taking the extra 2 minutes, like Josh said, instead of going in and driving through Chick-fil-A, which the line is probably pretty long. I've never had Chick-fil-A, but I drive past them all the time. It's 20-minute wait. You could run into Mariano's and get a buy one, get one free, a pound of ground turkey. You get 2 pounds of ground turkey. That could last you and your kids for I don't know, 3, 4 nights. You mix it up with different vegetables and stuff like that. There's so many different things and ways. And Josh's points are great. Like, there's just so many, I feel like, especially in Western civilized culture. This will be, we won't be able to dive in too much, but you go out to other countries across the world, Europe, this shit doesn't exist, man. Like, what's in the
Yeah.
food does not exist. The culture of eating healthy in Western civilized culture, like, it's non-existent. We go to Europe, you go to Asia, it's just like the norm. Like, it's how they eat. It's why they're so healthy. It's why they don't have a lot of chronic diseases. Why just overall how long they live is exponentially longer than Western civilized culture, especially America. And I feel like it's the mindsets are completely different where it's like, okay, if you eat McDonald's every day in Eastern and European culture, people will be like, what the hell are you doing? Like, why are you eating like that? You have all this great food here. If you eat like really good here, it's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, you don't have fast food, you don't eat unhealthy once in a while. Like, what's up with you? Come on, we're at a party. You can have a bunch of cake and ice cream. It's like, yeah, but maybe I don't want that right now because maybe I don't like that right now. I want to, make that a cheat day or something. I want to have my chicken and rice and I like that. The mindsets are completely different in my opinions. It's just, I don't know. It's crazy sometimes, but
Yeah, yeah, piggybacking off of that too, a lot of clients I've met over the years assume that like, hey, if I want to get in great shape and I need to eat healthy, it's like it's plain chicken, it's broccoli, it's rice. It's plain
I love
ground
that
beef.
though.
Like,
That's a great meal. I love that shit,
yeah,
man. I
yeah,
love
yeah. I always tell clients like if you enjoy that, more power to you. Seasonings aren't the devil unless you have a problem with sodium. So it's like we season our food to a taste that we enjoy.
Mhm.
Uh, Yeah, so I guess in theory you could consider it plain chicken. It's not doused in all these crazy sauces and stuff, but we
Yeah.
season it. Like clients think I'm talking to them about like boiling a chicken breast and not even putting salt on it. And I'm like, dude, I can't do that. Like, no
I don't think
way.
many I don't
Uh,
think people realize like people add stuff to their food.
yeah,
Like people, if they have a plain chicken breast, they cook it in a little bit of oil, they grill some vegetables with it. Like you have to add some flavoring. I mean, I know there's few far and a dozen. I'm a pretty bland eater myself. My girlfriend always craps on me for that, but it is what it is because she's not. But it's like I enjoy it. What are you gonna do? Like people enjoy it, but you don't have to eat like you see the bodybuilders and stuff, back in the old days, like just eating chicken and rice like 8, 10 meals a day. Like you don't have to do that. Like people, like, come on, you can add some
yeah,
spices, you can add some oil, add some vegetables, add some flavoring and seasoning to your food here.
Yeah, cook food that you like. And a lot of what I do for clients when they do cook the way they like is just adjust ratios of it. If they're like way too carb and protein heavy, or sorry, carb and fat heavy, it's like, okay, we need to dial some of those back, add in more protein. You can still eat that way, and drive the needle forward because most of the clients we work with aren't trying to step on like a bodybuilding stage. Yeah, it's just because you see a bodybuilder eating that way, it doesn't mean that you need to as a normal person. Um, like sure, peak week, like they're probably pulling things out, like even seasonings. Um, I'm not trying to peak and step on stage. Like I'm gonna season my chicken.
Yeah.
Another thing is, to me, nutrition is it's a math game. Like if you can do basic math, you can figure it out. So prime example, I told you I was running a couple minutes behind because we were finishing up our meal prep. Um, we made Indian buttered chicken this week in a slow cooker, and people might poo-poo like me putting the whole buttered chicken sauce in there. If you divide it up over the 10 meals that it made, we're getting less than 6 grams of sugar out of that. It's really not all that high. Um, like, is it higher than other sauces that are 0 calorie with some sodium? Sure. When you balance it over the course of the week, like it's not sticking us anywhere where we shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And it adds a ton of flavor to the meal for us, where it makes it fresh and actually enjoyable to eat.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think one of the biggest barriers that I believe people have when it comes to, well, we can get into the gym, but with nutrition in itself is the fact that people don't have a lot of support around them. They do not have a lot of experiences to learn from or people to learn from and people to tell them this is what you should be eating. This is not that hard. It doesn't take as much time and effort as you think. Or, then you got like family members, like we talked about a couple minutes ago, like people kind of telling you, like, why are you eating like this? This is not normal. Like, you can be flexible. It's your cousin's graduation party. Have some damn cake. Don't be disrespectful, as my mom says all the time to me. In one ear, out the other, people. Like, if you don't want something, you don't have to eat it. Like, don't force yourself just because someone wants you to eat that. Don't change your ways that you are finding works best for you in terms of eating healthier and eating new foods that you like that you feel are really good for your body. Don't let outsiders change that mindset,
Yeah.
that mentality. And I feel like people really like they are hoping and praying that people support them along their journey, especially with nutrition. You go to the gym, you get people rooting you on, spotting you, clapping for you, whatever. But you go to nutrition, it's all by yourself. It's one-on-one. And the only people who might see are is, wife, girlfriend, family members, friends, close friends. And if they're not supporting you, it definitely hurts, but you got to actually believe in what you're doing and believe in yourself. I think that's like a big, big, big point that I feel like most people don't realize. And they just got to believe in what they're doing. And you also, if you're enjoying it, just keep doing it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's I've always said for years it's a battle of you versus you. It does very much help to have a support system around you. It's one of the harder things I tackle in the gym is like an unsupportive spouse. Um, but there's ways around it. If you have a strong why on why you're looking to lose weight, like, hey, doctor said, like, look, you need to lose weight, XYZ will happen to you if you don't. You need to ride and die by that. Like, you need to sit there and do what these people are telling you to do because you put a healthcare team around you to help fix these problems. Um, and we very much know in Western civilization where that ends up if you don't put in the work. And I'm a big proponent on like uh, hard work, easy life. Work hard and like make everything else easy for you. People think we're insane for meal prepping. We haven't missed a week in 2 years.
Yep.
Um, yeah, and it's we eat food we like. I mean, have we missed meals in the 2 years? Sure. Like every once in a while, we'll hit a dinner and we're like, you know what? We do want sushi tonight. We do want XYZ tonight. And like we'll have that one meal and we'll get right back on track the next day. Like the next morning's my breakfast smoothie. Um, I've preached it forever too. This one's a funny one to me. Um, so I call it falling off the horse, right?
Oh, yeah.
The thing about it is horses can't walk forever, but humans are designed to walk forever. So as long as you trail along behind that horse, you're
Mm,
going to catch it when it stops to drink water and you're going to get right back on.
that's a great,
Uh,
yeah, that's a good one.
yeah, so I'm a big believer. Like it's okay. Like it's not a linear journey in fitness. At least if you have a good coach, good people around you, they will explain there's ups and downs through this whole journey. I'm a huge proponent of it. I'm very transparent with my clients. I started 12 years ago. I had a dream body in mind. 12 years later, if you ask me if I got my dream body, nope. Like, will it happen one day? Possibly. I now respect the process a lot different. Um, do I eat, sleep, train, drink for it? Sure. It just happens slowly over time. Yeah, and the weight loss part of it, in the gym, I want to touch on that too. Um,
Go ahead.
I
All
use a paper towel analogy for a lot of clients because they never see anything happening. And so I'll pull out a big roll of paper towel and I'm like, okay, today was one sheet, and I rip off one sheet. I'm like, how different does that paper towel roll look? And they're like, it looks no different. And I'm like, okay, but compounding interest, if you're to rip one sheet off a day until this thing runs, like eventually you're gonna see, hey, it's way down from where it used to be. And I feel like the slow, steady progress, it's harder for people to see. So on the front end of fitness journeys for most clients, I'm chasing the feeling for them of starting to feel better, get more natural energy, better sleep. I'm focusing on those rocks because the physical stuff, it just comes as a byproduct of that over time.
Yeah.
And like they do see themselves stronger, but they're like, hey, the scale hasn't moved in XYZ weeks. There is also what we call recomp in our industry. Like you're starting to trade some of the fat in your body for muscle that you didn't have. Sometimes the scale doesn't move much for a little while.
Yep.
Depends on what you're looking to do.
Yep. Great, great points. Now, what do you feel like with some of your clients? I'm for sure, because I know both me and you have been through it. The, I guess you could say the emotional and mental side that people might go through with, you know, not seeing that change quick enough. Because I do feel like what I can imagine, what I've heard, what I've seen with clients is, okay, I got 3 or 4 kids at home. My husband, he's working all day, or wife, whatever. I'm trying to lose this weight because I want to feel better about myself. I want to feel better about myself just in general. I want to feel better for my kids. It's like I was walking my kids to school and I was out of breath and I was like, holy crap, look at my body. And it kind of the light bulb went. I was like, I need to change things. But you come home, you don't have maybe the best supportive environment, and that kind of messes with people's heads because they don't feel like, okay, well, I just don't have the time to do this. I can't do this anymore. Like, it's too much for me. It's too stressful for me. What do you kind of say to your clients? Because I'm interested because we might have different perspectives on how to handle those situations.
Yeah, I'm a two-factor belief system on that one. A, you need to trust the process. Um, and B, um, if you fail to prepare, or if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So if you're not setting up, that falls back on that same, like we fall to the level of our habits. You need to build a habit system around you that supports the goal that you're going to get to. So if you're not taking the time to cook all the healthy meals in advance, or if you have time every day, amazing. If you don't, meal prep once, twice, 3 times a week and just batch cook some food for yourself. Um, if you're not taking the time to do those things for yourself, you're setting yourself up not to get there.
Yeah.
You're creating more barriers to entry. Um, yeah, so if we actually have the system in place and they're real down in the dumps about like things aren't moving, you need to trust the process. Like I always tell clients if they come to me 60, 70, 80 pounds overweight, like, hey, how long did it take you to gain all this weight? And they're like, oh, it happened slowly over the last 10 years. I'm like, cool, just so you know, we're not going to fix this in the next 90 days. Like, that's not how that works. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's going to take time.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like people, they understand it took them forever to get there, but they want the result yesterday. Like, if they could take the red pill and they're lean, they want the red pill.
No, they
And
got Ozempic now.
yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Different tangent, different tangent. We won't go off topic. We definitely can, but
Yeah, we can.
for tonight we won't, people. We won't tonight. We won't go off topic on that. Well, but
Yeah, be careful of your GLP-1s. That's my underlier right there. Be careful of them. Um, Yeah, and if medically necessary, there's avenues for that. I feel like for the average person,
Yeah,
it's not generally speaking medically necessary.
mm,
Yeah, you need to own up that you're not willing to put in the work, and you need to. I'm a big introspector. Why are we not willing to do these? And what can we change about this? Like, what are the big rocks we can tackle that we're willing to improve on? What are the systems and habits in play that we can actually um, control? Yeah,
exactly.
shout out to Yusuf on this. He had a huge phrase that I've stolen since. It's control your controllables.
Yep.
If you start controlling your controllables, like you'll realize a lot of this stuff works really well.
Yep, that's a great point. And shout out to Yusuf as well. Hopefully, we can get him back on here. Um, I think that's a great point because, in my opinion, a lot of this stuff, this is just my own opinion, but I know there's research out on it, and I know a lot of different nutritionists and personal trainers probably all agree with me and doctors. Hereditary genetics plays a big factor into it, not just physically, not just, okay, my mom had diabetes, my grandma had diabetes. It's that mindset that like you just because your mom and grandma had diabetes, you're going to be prone to getting diabetes.
Yeah,
Like you, you got people have to understand like there is some situations where the hereditary risk of getting some sort of chronic disease is there. It just is. But that doesn't mean that it has to come on at this specific age when my mom or grandma had it or my uncle or grandpa had it. It doesn't mean that it has to actually affect your daily life and your activity. It doesn't mean that it has to be as bad or has as worse of symptoms as you had. So just because you have this disease or hereditary issue that your family has had doesn't mean that it's going to happen to you. Certain conditions are different than others. I understand that. But I think people just they're so in line with just kind of sort of giving up when it comes to nutrition and eating healthy because like you kind of said there's so many different pieces of the puzzle in terms of people what they have to do. Oh, I got to meal prep. I got to go to the grocery store. I got to cook the food. I got to take care of the kids too. I got to, my family doesn't want to eat this food that I'm trying to cook that's healthy for me. They don't want I got to add spices in it. That's complicated. I got to look up recipes. There's all these different puzzle pieces. And in my opinion, you can kind of make it more simplex if you just develop a routine for yourself.
yeah,
Hey, tell your family, listen, Sunday night's going to be dinner night or cook or meal prep night for the week. It's going to make our lives easier. Kids, you're going to have food that you can kind of scoop out at each night you get home from class or work or whatever, not work, but like school, sports activities. You know, Food's going to be prepped and ready to go. Throw it in the microwave. Boom, there you go. But we're going to make Sunday night meal night or Saturday night or Tuesday. You go to the store, takes an hour. You cook the food for the week, 2 hours tops, depending on what you're cooking. We're not trying to cook a five-star, Michelin restaurant, 3 star, I think it is, whatever. I feel like that just developing some sort of small routine can kind of make all those different puzzle pieces kind of come together and make it seem more simplistic is the important thing is because simplicity is really just makes everyone's lives easier and makes your life easier. When there's a lot of different pieces going around, it seems complex and overwhelming. If you can kind of simplify things and take one step at a time, especially with nutrition and realizing like, okay, this isn't as complicated. Like going to the store could be fun. Going to the store and trying this new recipe or this new food could be fun. Like make the most out of it. Like in my opinion, we only have so many years of our life, and if going to the grocery store and starting a little nutrition routine is going to add 5 or 10 years, which research shows that it mostly does for the most part, you know, I think that it would be worth it. Like, I think it would be worth your time, worth your energy, and worth your effort because you're only going to feel better about yourself mentally and emotionally, and you're just going to feel more confident, which I think is a big thing that kind of stems from what we've been saying. Josh tonight is just really like people lack confidence in this realm because they're not super educated. Nutrition's hard to just kind of go on the web and learn about it, unlike exercises and going to the gym. You can kind of go to the gym and see what other people are doing and kind of be like, oh, I think I should try this, or this guy's technique looks better than mine. Nutrition, it's like it's kind of a one-man show. It's on you. Like, unless you got a coach or like a supportive family, some people don't. And I feel like that kind of hinders their progress and hinders their confidence. They're like, I just don't have a support system. How am I supposed to keep up doing this? Like, it's just me by myself. Like, Oh, I'm also not seeing the weight loss that you talked about. Now I'm just giving up completely. I'm just going to keep going to the gym and eating like crap, and because nothing's changed. What's the big deal? And I feel like that's such a barrier emotionally, mentally for people. It's just so
Yeah.
many puzzle pieces, and they can't simplify it. But it doesn't take that much to simplify. You just got to come up with a plan.
Yeah, the big thing I tackle too is if there's a huge barrier to entry mentally for somebody, say they just meal prep is like beyond them for like 3 meals a day for a whole week. I start tackling, okay, like what is your worst meal of the day? Like, is that always dinners? Is that always lunches? Like, do you always run out on your work break for lunch? Like, let's fix that one first. You'll start to build the habit of like, hey, I cook all these healthy lunches. Um, and then it's easier down to trickle into like, okay, here's breakfast, here's dinners, and you just take it piece by piece. Because yeah, sure. Do I want clients meal prepping all 3 meals a day? Absolutely. Is that feasible for a brand new client that's never done this before? Not necessarily. It's a little overwhelming. So it's like, let's start with a couple here. Let's fix some things up and then let's see how we do. And it's usually 2, 3 weeks in where they're like, hey, I've been eating these meals for lunch and I actually don't get like, I don't crash out in the afternoon when I'm at work. And I'm like, oh, go figure. Like, you ate some healthy food, you have some good natural energy. Like, how do you feel around dinners? And they're like, oh, I eat dinner and I'm like vegged out on the couch, food coma. I'm like, let's on dinners. And then the other thing I wanted to touch on this too, you had touched on this. Um, yeah, like genetic conditions. Um, Huge proponent. Genetics load the gun, but you pull the trigger, right? It's your habits that actually pull the trigger just because it runs in the family. And yes, barring certain conditions. Um, yeah, I'm transparent guy. I have hypercholesterolemia, runs in the family. I, we just talked. I've meal prepped everything super clean for 2 years. My LDL cholesterol for clients, if you don't know what it's supposed to be below 99. I was eating 40 grams of fiber a day, 3 meal prep meals. Like people would say I had a perfect diet. My LDL was 277.
Mhm.
Like that needs to be treated by a Western med, unfortunately, because you add in all the systems. I do my zone 2 cardio, no saturated fats. I cut out all red meat, like XYZ. Like there are things that will happen, um, but I put the systems in play to solve them. Uh, the cool one for me on that was all the doctors predicted it would take me a year to pull the cholesterol down. My habitual system was so strong. I went from 272 on my bad cholesterol to 97 in 10 weeks.
Nice.
It's like, yeah, my liver just runs in overdrive, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and I was talking to clients about this. Everybody's got something that nobody talks about.
Mhm.
Uh, but it's really like I'm a big proponent. You are not your diagnosis or your disease. You have this thing, or you may have this thing, but there's plenty of things you can do to treat, manage more effectively. Um, yeah, and when you put the habits in place, like things work like wildfire.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah, and it's oh, the other one. So when they're like all by themselves too, and they're like, I'm screwed. How do I do this? You need to be your own biggest support system.
Hard. It's
Currently,
hard though.
I'm in a massive dietary change where my wife and I have been eating very similar for the last 2 years, and I just upended my entire meal prep. So now our meal preps are polarizingly different. Um, Granted, I have a great support system. She's helping me cook the food I need. I'm helping her cook the food she needs. Um, Clients are blessed if they have that. If not, like I would have done all that work for myself. She would have done that work for herself. She's her own biggest support. I'm my own biggest support. I'm blessed that I'm in a marriage where we support each other to do that.
Hmm.
Um, and my wife does not understand nutrition at the level that I do. Bless her, she's been teaching Pilates for 18 years. She is one of the best Pilates instructors in the state. Actually, if you're out in Aurora, shout out Core Value Pilates. She's rated best Pilates studio in Aurora for like 6 years in a row.
There we
Uh,
go.
yeah, but she does not hold nutrition certs.
Hmm.
So commonly, if she gets clients that are like, "Hey, I need to lose XYZ," she'll refer them over to me to start handling some nutrition things for them, and I just give guidance. I'm like, "Hey, you ever track your protein?" And they start to track, and they're like, "I get like 46 grams a day. Is that good?" And I'm like, "Absolutely not. I get that for breakfast." So I think it's just bringing awareness into these habits. Yeah, for clients, if you've never tracked, I know that adds an extra barrier for you guys. It's very, very eye-opening to just do even a week or two. What goes inside your mouth hole? Like, do you even take inventory of that? Uh, and yeah, the other thing I will teach clients, and anybody on the podcast listening, if you're a massive overeater, generally takes the brain about 20 minutes to recognize that you're full.
Hmm.
This is a Japanese trick. They eat slow, like very slow, and they only eat until they're 80% full. And everybody wants to say carbs are the enemy in America, like you need to go low carb, keto, XYZ. Um, Japan eats almost double the carb volume of the US, and their average life expectancy is like over 15 years longer than ours.
Hmm.
Are not the problem. Yeah, that's yeah, it's habits and everything that they fall to. Yeah.
And it's that, in my opinion, it's that system and it's that belief. Like, we only got a couple minutes left here, but it's really that belief system, and it's kind of how people also are raised up, and that can factor in with genetics too. You see your parents have this disease or this disease, and it's kind of like, oh, I'm going to end up with this. Or it's also like, oh, me and my family always went to McDonald's. That's a great meal for like taking my kids. It's not a bad thing. It's not never a bad thing, once in a while. But like you also have to realize, like, listen, okay, my family, my parents had health issues. I don't want myself or my husband or my kids having those health issues. So it's kind of becoming more aware, and kind of just making your family more aware. That's the cool thing about this is like once you become knowledgeable and you start doing this, like most of the time, like some of my clients, like their husbands or their wives or their kids start being like, holy crap, like my mom or dad is like changing, like they're losing weight, like they're eating healthier. I want to get in on this, which I find to be pretty cool and awesome because then you can kind of start to educate. And like we've talked about on similar episodes, Josh, it's good to learn on your own, but then when you can teach somebody, you really know it. And
Yeah,
that's how you really learn. And
very much. Wholeheartedly agree with everything you just said there. Bless my parents. I adore both of them. I grew up in a very unhealthy family. I actually was a former um, fat kid. Yeah, I was a fat kid growing up. And when I was like 6, I took my shirt off at the pool, and some girl like yelled at me to put my shirt on, that it was like the most disgusting thing she had ever seen. Um, I didn't start to fix that till I was in my 20s though. Yeah, I mean, just because you grew up that way, those are the habits you're instilled with, like, does not mean that you have to currently live that way anymore. I used
exactly.
to touch water with a 20-foot pole, like 12 cans of Pepsi a day strong. And now I'm lucky if I drink a soda once a month. Like,
Yep.
you can fix these things.
You can
Yeah.
fix these things, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Well, shorter podcast tonight, but we will get back to it part two on this topic. Other than that, guys, Josh, thanks for hopping on, and we'll see you guys next time. Okay. Take care, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, dude.